We are back with you now on Wave Listens Live. It is Monday, of course, which means it is time for Medicare Monday. We are going to fill you in on all things you need to know with an expert who is here with us here today. Dan Lodwick is the co-founder and COO of the Bedrock Group, who has been with us before on Listens, always a wealth of information. It's great to see you on this Medicare Monday.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start. I want to talk a bit, kind of an overview for anybody that didn't see you last time of how you got into what you do now, because your first career in life kind of led you right to where we are today.
Yeah, being a first responder at the fire department, we make a lot of emergency medical runs on folks that have Medicare. It is confusing. I didn't understand it, and we would have a lot of people that would turn down emergency services just because of the simple fact they couldn't afford it. So that's what got me started.
You saw a need for something in our community. That's what you're now filling. And I think what you said there is anybody that's dealt with Medicare and gone through this process probably has, unless they have a background in it, the same confusion that you were just bringing up. They look at this and they say, what in the world does all of this mean? That's where you can help.
Yeah. So, you know, my passion is helping people, and I think most of the folks that are in the first responder world, that is what we do, right? We want to serve people. And it was just one of them needs that I saw that needed it, and yes, it is very confusing. You know, we have people that are entering into Medicare. They don't understand that if they make some wrong decision, it could cost them in penalties. There's a lot of bad information that does go out there, unfortunately. You know, every time we talk, every time we turn around, there's people are being called on the telephone. They're getting mailed a bunch of stuff that is confusing.
It's info coming from all directions.
It's all directions, and it's almost information overload. Not to say that some of the stuff isn't probably good, and most of it probably is, but it's still confusing. They need someone to educate them on why they would need something other than original Medicare in the first place.
Right.
And that's kind of where we step in.
Let's talk about the 65 guide, because this is another resource that you have at your disposal to help folks.
Yeah, so we put this together along with our marketing team, was basically to help people cut through some of the confusion without having a book that's 180 pages, right?
Right.
Our guide is about 15 pages, 20 pages. It's an easy, quick read. You can get it from us by just going to our website, and you can get the guide from us as well.
Obviously, everybody's situation as they're entering a space where they might need Medicare is going to be different. But if you were to say, okay, here's a couple of questions that I seem to get all the time, what are some of the things that people are always asking?
Well, that's kind of a large area of
They're
topic.
all over the map.
It's all over the map, and it could be just for the simple fact that they've had families that's had past experiences that were bad.
Right.
But most of the time, it's like, hey, I'm getting called all the time, and I have no idea if I should trust these people or not. And the simple answer to that is I don't know, right? Because I don't know where them phone calls are coming from. We're locally based. We're here to serve the public that is turning 65, and we're here to serve them the best that we can do, right? And the best thing that we can do is just simply educate you on why you would need someone like us to walk you through it. Because Medicare itself leaves a lot of pitfalls that if you don't know what you don't know, it can get you burned.
Yeah, exactly. That's the last thing you want to do as you're entering this next stage of your life. So for people that are watching and they say, okay, I know I need this, what does that process look like? I imagine starts with getting in touch with you, and where do we go from there?
So you get in touch with us, we set up a one-on-one, or if it's a couple, we bring them in together. But we either do it at the office or in home. We want them to be as comfortable as possible, because I have a lot to teach them in about an hour, right? I go through a lot of educational things just so they can kind of cut through some of the confusion things. But Medicare itself, one of the biggest pitfalls of why you would need something other than original Medicare is it's an 80-20 coverage, 20% being to the client, and that coverage has no maximum out of pocket. So unfortunately, cancer is prevalent everywhere.
Right. Bad in Kentucky.
Yeah, and if you get a cancer and you have Medicare alone, there's going to be a large amount of bills because it just doesn't stop coming in. And the things that we do have maximum out of pockets that are maybe $4,000 or $5,000 on the max end, and then you can get into the supplements that will pay all of it. So.
Knowing that Medicare is as confusing as it is, how are you able to help people? How do you guide them through this process?
Well, after the education, of course, we have to make sure that they're getting their Medicare, and it's better for them to go through us than to just stay with, if they're employed, going through their employer plans, right? So again, it just basically comes down to education. The more they're educated, the more they can be confident in the decisions that they need to make that's right for them and their family.
As you've spent your life doing this in public service and helping people, what has been the most rewarding part of now doing this, where you're able to guide people who are turning 65, who are say, I don't know where to turn, I don't know what to do next? What's been the most rewarding part about that?
Answering that question.
Yeah.
When they say they don't know what to do next. And then we come in, we educate them, and now they do know what to do next, right? And you can leave them with a smile on their face and confidence in what they just got into. That's the best thing about this, is I know that when we leave a client, they have all the information. We are going to be with them every step of the way, and I think that speaks for itself. We're not going anywhere.
Right.
We're always going to be here, and we're always going to be able to answer their questions, because whatever I give them in an hour isn't everything.
Yeah.
They're going to have questions. We're here to answer.
You're helping people too that have been a big part of our communities for decades, and so it's good to give back where that's needed. Okay, gotta go. Last thing I'll ask you, best place to go to get into contact with you?
Go right to our website. It's www.bedrockfg.com. You can call us. We have, of course, Facebook. That's the best way.
Okay. A litany of resources on this Medicare Monday from Dan Lodwick, again, co-founder, COO of the Bedrock Group. Thanks for being with us and for all that you do in the community.
Thanks for having us. Stay tuned for next Monday.
There we go. We'll be back. All right. And we will be back with more Listens Live after this short break.